So just before we touch on the photography side of thing then, we mentioned just before we hit record on this podcast that we were going to talk about the sort of differences and benefits between private and commercial gym.
Yeah.
I imagine one of the main things, obviously, benefiting commercial is price. You're usually getting a commercial gym 100%. For, 20 quid a month, and then your PT is probably going to cost you about 20, 30 quid an hour, I imagine.
Yeah.
What sort of prices are you looking at and benefits, obviously, for being in the private gym? Obviously, one of them's it's not rammed full of people at 5 o'clock.
So you've got a hell of a lot more to sell when it comes to a private gym. So if I worked in JD, yes, you've got the benefits of everyone walking through the door. Like, you've got people walking through the door constantly.
Yeah.
But I'm not a very pushy salesman. Like, that's what PT is. You are technically a salesman as well. You have to do a sales job before you get them. Yeah. I'm just not that type of person to go up to someone and be like pushy, saying like, "Oh, you need a hand? Like, I'm a PT. Here's my business card." Blah blah. I'm just not into that. Like, so that's another reason why I didn't go down that route. Plus, I think with the private gym, you get your own set of keys. You can go in whenever you want. You can film content. You can, and it's just when people say like, "Oh, why is your price so high?" or whatever, it's because like, right, you've got a private gym. It's just me and you. You've got maybe 2 or 3 other people in there with you, and that's instantly like a light bulb to someone. They go, "Oh, I feel," because 9 times out of 10 when people go to PT, they do feel self-conscious. They don't know what to do, and I think if you're paying for, like, you are paying quite a lot of money. Even when you go to a JD gyms or peer gyms, you are still paying a good whack of money. When you could just go yourself, or you could get an online coach that could take you through it. Do you know what I mean? So, just private gyms, I think it's just a hell of a lot nicer to sell. You can go in, do whatever you want. The downsides about it, you can't really go in without a membership, so it's purely just one-to-one. But that's the route I wanted to take. I wanted to be just a one-to-one coach. So I thought, right, we'll do that. But obviously the price is probably the big thing, and then how busy it is.
Yeah.
And plus, the way I do it is I don't really post my clients all over my stories. I put the occasional one on, like my younger ones, but my older clients, they don't really have Instagram, they don't have Facebook. So I say to them, I don't put you all of my social media. Like, this is private for a reason. No one knows you're here. As long as you're coming to see me and I'm coming to see you, that doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, it's good to get my name out there. I totally get it, to film my story, to film people and then them to put them on their stories. But the route I've got a bit of a niche of kind of like, all the clients don't want to put on their stories. That's why I put my younger ones on, so then they do. But then I'm not at the end of the world. I'm like, you don't have to put on your story if you don't want to. It just shows that I've got some clients. do you know what I mean?
That you're still actually working.
Yeah.
But with the older clients, you'll find that most of the stuff with them would be like word of mouth referrals, wouldn't it? Because, like you say, they don't actually have social media to begin with. So even though you're not putting them on your stories, they're probably going out saying, "Oh, I've been working with Sean today."
Yeah. And I think just price-wise, it's not a massive difference now. I think obviously, I think you're probably looking between 30 and 35 an hour when you come to a commercial gym. You're looking at 35 plus. So if you're doing blocks of like 8 or 10 or whatever, it's like maybe an extra 60, 70 quid a month. I know it sounds quite a lot, but if you're going to really invest into it medium to long term,
for what you're getting
look at your funds, and I think, just right, I want to try the private gym. And honestly, 9 times out of 10, honestly, people come in, I know I keep saying that, but I think I've said that loads, like 9 times out of 10, but it's like every person that's came into the gym now, they came in and went, "Oh wow," like it's dead and it's really clean and professional. Like you would have seen the
I've seen your stories. You work across 2 gyms, don't you? Or you were working across 2. You had Graft and the other one.
Hema.
I can't remember.
Hema Fitness. So I'm in a private and a semi-private. So basically that gives the option of 2 gyms for people, but the semi-private one isn't really commercial. It's like a friends and family gym. Yeah. It's a little bit cheaper, but basically the whole story was I worked in the private gym. I went to this new gym. It was a massive risk I took because it was quite a lot of money for me to work in the private gym. So when I first worked there, I set my price at a certain price point, but it wasn't high enough. But I didn't say to myself, why am I charging this? Because I've got nothing. Because I was only a level 3 PT.
Yeah.
So the guys in there were like, you need to charge them like 40, 50 quid an hour. And I was just like, I've got no reason to. Like, I'm not worth that yet. So this is why I went, right, because basically the rent's expensive in a private gym. That's the downside for PTs. The more hours you work, the more rent you pay. So when you go into a commercial gym, you're looking at between £500 a month. So if you've got 2 clients, you're not even making any profit. Do you know what I mean? So that's why then you work your 16 hours a week. But I don't want to work for free. Anyone that's listening to this, do not work for free in a commercial gym. Like, it is a complete and utter waste of time.
Yeah, picking up people's weights and
complete waste of time. Like, I do not agree with it, and I think commercial gyms should absolutely knock that on the head. I really don't agree with it at all.
Yeah.
They should give them like the 16 hours wage, even if it's like minimum wage. They should just give them something.
Yeah.
But nah, I'm not getting into that in case anyone says something about it. But yeah, it's like I just don't agree with it. So that's why I went to the private gym. But the good thing about private gyms is why I'm saying if anyone is starting new to be a PT, is starting a private gym, because you don't have that big number to chase every single month. If you work 2 hours a week and say the gym charges you £8 an hour, 16 quid a week. If you're charging like 30, 40 pound an hour, you're winning. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you gotta look at that way, but obviously you've got to look, is there any good private gyms? Because a private gym could be a bit naff. The equipment could be terrible. Like, so you got to look at that way as well. So I'm quite lucky in a way that this little private gym that I'm at now, no one even knows where it is.
Yeah.
Like, no one knows what it is. Like, but it's absolutely amazing. Like, the equipment there is like top quality. And then, yeah, so.
I think you say as well, like, obviously you're trying to work with these people with chronic illnesses and things like that. They're obviously going to be a bit, some of them I imagine are going to be quite insecure going into a commercial setting. So that's an even bigger plus for those type of clients to go into the private gym as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. But the downside about which I didn't really think of, is when I qualify as a GP referral, the NHS obviously doesn't have a lot of money to give out. So if I'm putting my own prices in a private gym, they can't match my prices, so they have to give them a shorter price, but then I've also got to then pay the rent on top of that.
Right.
So like, I'm back to square one that I was 3 years ago. This is why I'm saying you don't get a lot of GP referrals these days, because of just how the NHS is dealing with everything at the minute. So you get a lot of self-referrals, but it's just good to have that qualification, because people are like, ooh, I don't actually know anyone that has that. And yeah, it obviously just shows that you've went out your way and you care that you've actually done extra qualifications. You haven't just done your level 3 PT and that's it.
Yeah, like you said earlier, it's like so easy to do it. Like I did mine on the side of working as well. I probably took a bit longer than most people to do it, but it is so basic. Like, and like you're saying before, like a lot of the new PTs, especially the younger ones going into these commercial gyms, they don't last, quite a lot of them, because they don't have any of those like communication skills like at all. So they're going in there not knowing even how to sell a business at maybe 18 with some of the most basic qualifications I think you can possibly get.
They think it's an easy way out, being a PT. Yeah. It's not like... It used to be a bit easier 5 years ago, but now they're everywhere. Yeah. Like, everywhere. But if you're 18, like, you've got to have I don't know what age group they will go for 18-year-olds. Like, a 35-year-old bloke is not going to go with an 18-year-old lad. That's just
most likely you've had 3 years of gym experience yourself.
Exactly.
Tops, really.
So what you'll get is you get friends that join you just to support you, but then them friends are just like the same age, and financially they're not going to stick with you for months. They're going to stick with me for a month, and that's it.
Yeah. Like I'm now 27. I couldn't imagine, like, I've never had a PT myself actually, but I couldn't now imagine going to PT at 18, going, hey, do you want to do a workout plan for me? Like, no chance. It must be so hard for those younger people. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was speaking to a PT on here a couple of weeks ago. She's now 21, I think. But she started out when she was like 18, 19, and quite a lot of her friends were the ones that supported her to begin with. But now she's obviously, she's got a good personality, to be honest, to be actually working on the gym floor and things like that. So that's a massive...
That is all PT is, personality.
Yeah.
Like, that's what, like, if you think about one-to-one, is a very personal experience. They're not going there for, they are going for your service, but they're going for the social aspect of it. Yeah. If you don't have any good crack and you can't speak to people like this, like just dead easy, then they're just not going to. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got to, speaking to someone for an hour is really hard, especially hour after hour after hour. If you have 4 people back to back, you have to go in and be like all bubbly and like, do you know what I mean? Which it's hard to do. Like, at the end of the day, I'm like. Like, I'm just knackered. Like, I'm knackered, but I can't switch off. So by the time I get home now, boom, I'm straight on to doing my photography stuff because I want to get that out and about. So I'm back to like square one with that. Like, I'm classing my PT job now as my office job, but not as in like I don't like it. As in like I'm trying to get my PT on the side, my photography on the side to match with my PT, and then I'm not going to quit my PT, but I'm going to then which I've said before, I'm going to try and do like a 50-50 or a 60-40 split.
Yeah.
That's the plan. Like,
so, talking about the photography then. So, where did the passion for photography, the videography, and editing all come from? Like, how did that all start?
I've always been interested since I was like miniature. I've always been interested in just like the creative aspect of like photography. Videography not so much, but photography, I've always been interested in it, and that's what's helped my PT business massively, was get good quality content to make it stand out more instead of just on a phone. The phones
it makes a massive difference.
The phones these days are good, don't get us wrong, like it's good just to put on stories, but if you want to put it out on Facebook, that's my main platform for clients, is Facebook, because that's the older generation platform. Instagram, I get nothing. Like,
it's a joke these days. We were saying this before.
Like, you put that question box on, I got one reply, and that was from a friend, just going like just something stupid. But like, honestly, that's why I didn't. But I was just like, I'll put it on, but I was like, I'm gonna get absolutely nothing. But Facebook is massively so. Like, community pages help me out massively. So joining like your local community pages is absolutely fantastic. Recommend that to anyone. What we were saying, I'm going off topic again.
Where the passion for photography came from.
Yeah. So obviously my creative side of that helped my business massively. So I thought, but honestly, all my friends and family were like, why don't you try it and just make a little business out of it, even if it's just a bit of pocket money. And I was held off for ages. I was like, nah, like I don't want to become a job. And yeah, I think the more people that actually commented on my quality of content was kind of spurred me on. And I think I don't even know what made me do it, to be fair. Like, recently, I did a job for a gym who I also used to work at the first gym. I just did like a little gym shoot for him, and I was like, actually, I want to see if I can just maybe put this out there. So I opened up another business account, spoke to my accountant, and I just talked about like financial stuff with him, and he was just like, I'm not going to go into it, but yeah, and then it kind of just spurred on from there. And then I got my logo designed by the same guy that did my PT one, because my PT logo stayed the same since I've started. So I got that put out there, and then just started posting. Honestly, I haven't even advertised still, and I'm getting inquiries through.
So what sort of photography are you doing now then? Is it still just gym stuff, or are you doing stuff outside?
No, so that was just like the odd one which I'm going to do, because I want my photography business to be completely non-gym related.
Okay.
Just because I spent a lot of time in a gym, so I was like, I don't want to be in another gym doing this. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, I don't want anything. Yeah. So if it's like an odd friend and stuff that wants footage, I'll be like, yeah, that's fine. Like, I've got a photo shoot next week with the guy that works at Graft. He's doing like his photo shoots. So yeah, I'll do that for him because I'm local, and it saves him, and he likes my stuff. So I was like, that's fine. But other than that, I'm doing like a lot of property. So I'm just actually in the middle of doing some talks on surveying. So like, I'm basically, instead of the guys getting scaffolds and up onto buildings, I'm going up with my drone and basically doing that job for them.
Oh, nice.
But that's also for the NHS, so they do this every single year where they go into the like hospitals and they basically look at all the roofs in the hospitals. But that's pretty much what my job's going to be doing over the next like 2 or 3 months, is to basically take the drone up, taking photos of all the roofs. But then I've also got to learn roofing as well, so I've got to learn all the different terminologies, the different angles of the roof. So he's given me loads of textbooks to learn roofing. So basically he's going to do like the first 5 houses with me, and then after that he's going to send me a checklist saying, look, I need you to go here and do this, and I can go by myself and actually get exactly what he wants, and it saves him a lot of money and we can both make money. So it's like, I'm excited for that. So I've done loads of different niches at the minute. So I've done like hospitality, I've done gym, I've done pets, property, and I think property is going to be probably my main focus.
I think I saw a video that you put up in a coffee shop or something recently.
Yeah, that was to help my last out. So I did that with Starbucks. That was actually with Starbucks as well. So I worked with her, and Starbucks hired me as well. So
was it the Starbucks you used to work in?
They were going to do it that one, but it needed to be a drive-through, so I had to go over to Hexham to like where my parents live up that way. So that would have been funny. I was like, "Ooh, back again."
They'd be like, "Oh God, Sean's back."
I know. There's that miserable idiot coming in again.
Don't put him on the drive-through for whatever you do.
So yeah, it's good. Like, I think I can. yeah, for someone who's just not even advertised it, like I'm getting inquiries like left, right, and centre, which is really good. So
can't complain there, then, can you? Obviously, if you put a little bit of effort into advertising as well, you can probably get that split pretty easily.
I'm gonna probably go for it. But my girlfriend does horse riding. She does like show jumping and stuff. So I've done a lot of like horse, like what I think it's called like equestrian. It's like equestrian photography. That's also going to get some interest in summer. So I've got like a big job in the summer that comes to stables. I think there's like 8 different horses there, so I'm doing like all of it at the same time. So it's good, but I just think it's like you just got to be a bit different. I think my photography comes across a little bit different to most photographers around here. Just the way I edit, the way I get different angles and stuff.
Mate,
so I think
some of the videos you've posted are class.
Yeah, they're getting better. I've just invested a lot of money over the last 4 months. I think I've invested about 6 or 7 grand just in photography stuff. But like I've took the risk. I was like, do you know what it is? I think I guarantee I'm going to make the money back.
Yeah.
Because I know I will. So it's like, but I didn't want to go into a job and think it was like half-arsed and like not as good quality. So I didn't want to sell myself and then not have the equipment. To do the job for. So I went, do you know what it is? I was going to take the hit. I'm going to get what I really need. And then it's quite funny because after what I buy, I'm like, right, that's it. I'm not buying anything else. And then next month, I'm like, oh, I want that. So it's, but the equipment I've got now is like absolutely fantastic. I've got a good, really good foundation of getting good stuff. So, but yeah, just getting out there.
Just going back to what you were saying before as well, like the difference in your content on your fitness is what helped grow that page. I've noticed recently so many people now are paying for photographers to get their content for them, and obviously like you were saying before, like it's so hard to be different from anyone because everyone's doing the exact same thing now. Everyone's paying a photographer for, I don't know, a weekend or something. They get 200 pictures and they've got multiple videos, and literally all they do is post them like on a daily basis. And obviously it's like that would have set you apart a couple of years ago before people were doing that. But now there's that many people out there getting this content done. It is, like you were saying, so hard to be different.
It's hard because there's that many people out there. There's that many that are exactly the same as you. Like, for instance, if loads of people turn around and they were all GP referrals, I'll be like, right, what can I do to be better than them?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, everyone's in competition with each other. Like, that's the end of the day. Yes, like, people do help each other out. Like, I've referred someone to someone else because I was like, I'm not entirely sure on what you're after, like strength and conditioning. Don't know really much about it, so I've given one of them to the lads at the gym. I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know. I'm not just getting your money. Do you know what I mean? So, which I think it does. If you refer to other people, then 9 times out of 10, said that again, they'll refer you. Like, do you know what I mean? They'll refer their clients to you if they're fully booked, or do you know what I mean? So there is certain ways where you do help each other out, but at the end of the day, like, you're a business at the end of the day, and you've got to clients want to come to you for help. So
I've done it plenty of times with clients. If they've asked me a question and I'm not 100% sure and answer it, but I know there's someone that's made a video that explains it, I'll show them the video. I'll be like, so and so's got this video, here you go, watch that. Like, it explains it better than I can. And I think you've got to have just that honesty, haven't you? Really.
Even now, like when my clients were saying, oh, I've got like a dodgy foot, like I don't know what this is, and I was like, I've looked and I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know too much about it to actually give you exactly what it is. I'm not a doctor. Like, yes, I've done my GP stuff, but I learn the very, very basics of it. It's fitness related, not like, do you know what I mean? So I've said, look, I'll go away and do some research on it for you, and I can give you some advice. But I said I would rather you go to a physio.
Yeah, it's not just that, like a foot is so complex in general anyway.
Exactly. I was like, yes, I do know a little bit about it, and I know, like, maybe down to flexibility, but when it comes to actual, like, bones and stuff like that, I don't know.
There's so much going on down there. Like.
That's what your physios are for. Like, that's what they're specialised in. Like, they wouldn't know what we do sometimes, but it's like...
Yeah. But it's like I've posted stuff about my knee before, like, and I've had questions going, George, what should I do on this? And I'm like, I've been through knee rehab twice, but I've had scans and everything. I know what's up with my knee. That might not necessarily work for yours. Like, I can suggest things that I've done that I've been told, obviously, by my physios in the past. But I said, you've got to go and get an MRI and get that checked out because it could be worse or it could be not as bad.
Yeah.
So,
You got to listen to the professionals.
Yeah, exactly. They get paid for it for a reason. So
yeah.
Thank you very much for watching part 2 of the podcast. If you'd like to see part 3, click right here. If you're new, subscribe. And if you enjoyed it, drop a like below. Thank you.